Good morning, I'm Melissa, and today we are going to do a plant update. It is the beginning of July, and I think I last did an update in May. There's been a lot of changes. There's been some unhappy plants, some good plant growth. I kind of just want to fill you in on everyone and how they're doing. So if there's a plant you've been wondering about, I will show pretty much my entire collection and just give you an update on how they're doing. It's going to be probably a bit of a longer video, so I hope you don't mind. You guys are going to see my plant room first. We're going to start in here, and if you have any questions about anyone, or if for some reason I forgot to talk about someone or show someone, just let me know and I'll be sure to do it for my next update. Time for an update. I just cleaned in here earlier today, so it's nice and clean. I got everyone watered. I'm still watering a few poles. Yes. What? I'm still watering a few moss pools, so some of them are dry, but for the most part I got everything clean in here and watered and checked. So I'll give you guys a little update. I am going to be filming after this video a few pole extensions. So some of my poles that you're going to see will be extended the next time you see them. I did already do a few extensions kind of earlier today just on my own because I wanted to just get some of them done because I had so many to extend. I still have like 5 or 6 left, but I did knock out 3 of them. Are you gonna hang with me today? Yeah. So where shall we start first? I'll kind of give you a little pan around. I have some plants on the floor over here. I kind of cleaned out the shelf a little bit. I actually went a little crazy earlier today and I chopped several plants and I repotted some plants just kind of on my own time. It was just, I don't know, I just didn't feel like filming them all and I got quite a bit done, so I'm happy about that. Here's a look at my poles. And my cabinet here is looking a little sparse. So where do I want to start? Where do you want to start, Luna? Huh? Where do you want to start? Yeah? Actually, let's start on the shelf here in front of me. It's not super bright. It's kind of more towards the evening time, so it's not as bright and intense in here. The first update I guess I want to share is with my Monsteras. I don't know if you can tell, but I ended up repotting them all again earlier today. I know. The main reason is I was concerned that the rot was continuing. My suspicion was correct. A few of them did have rot continuing, and I actually just chopped one up to propagate. I have it callousing right now because the rot was kind of spreading throughout the entire root system, so I just chopped it. It was the one that I wanted to chop anyway. Miss Aria, you know, she had rot, and she did give me this new leaf since. It's pretty small, and it has some good color on it though. The variegation is very beautiful, but she still seemed kind of unhappy. So I checked her root system out and I downgraded her pot, and she did have a little bit of rot going on. It just continued to spread from where I had like initially treated. So that one had some more rot as well as my elbow. So I removed the rest of the rot and then I just repotted into a smaller pot. The reason I potted them into here was because these ones don't have all those little side holes like these. I had them in the 6-inch of these, and all these little holes spilled dirt everywhere. So when my soil was drying, if I go to like move or touch the pot, soil just kept falling out, and this entire top shelf would get covered in dirt, and it drove me crazy. So that's the biggest reason why I changed the pots. But the reason I did it, or the reason I checked was because I was concerned for rot, and I was right. And they look healthy and happy, like they're pushing new leaves. This was a new leaf on this one. I have a new leaf here on this one. That one may have been a new leaf. So you wouldn't think there was something going on, but I can tell by looking at the leaves, they're not as perky. And some of them actually had a little bit of browning that I kind of trimmed away. So you can't really tell. I didn't have a lot of browning, thankfully, but I did have some, especially on this one. My main one had a little bit of browning that I just kind of trimmed off. So it just made me think that there was some rot continuing. There was healthy roots growing, but I'm glad that I checked and kind of got them taken care of. So hopefully they're going to do fine. I gave them some water a few hours ago, so everything looks pretty wet. I'm going to let them completely dry out, and these pots have side vents here, which is nice because then it'll get some extra airflow into there. I was wondering why the fungus gnats were hovering around my Monsteras. And that's why, because there was rot going on. They were just like attracted to it. And I didn't repot my ties at all because the ties out of all my Monsteras have done phenomenal. And I don't feel like any rot has continued. They're pushing lots of new growth. I have so many healthy roots in here growing, and even out of the bottom of the pot, there's a ton of roots already coming out. So the ties have done well from root rot. Again, I didn't repot or do anything with these ones. And that one has a lot of healthy roots in here too. This one is the smaller one. It gave me this new leaf recently. It's very beautiful. And then this is my bigger one. This one gave me this new leaf recently. Has a couple fenestrations there. A small one right there. So yeah, the ties are doing well. I left them alone, and then yeah, since I just did this today, we'll see kind of how they do. My Monsteras definitely have had a setback this summer, unfortunately, just with the root health. So I'm really bummed about that. The one that I chopped, I will show you. Actually, let me show you now. I have the one that I chopped out here on the table because I'm gonna do this here in a little while. I went ahead and chopped it up. This was the one that was mostly white. And this one actually what made me check my elbows is because the leaves were very droopy and they had some browning, which to me signaled rot, which the root system pretty much was gone. And it was kind of going all the way up to the node here, like this was rotted, this one was rotted, and there's a little piece that was connected to the soil that was like rotting on the node. So I got rid of that. So I have at least 3 nodes here that I'm going to prop. And then I have actually 3, 4, 5, I have 5 mid cuts and a top cut here. So I'm actually gonna do, I think, just tap water, and then I'm gonna try out stratum for a couple of them and just see how it goes. I actually need to do that soon because yeah, these have been callousing for a few hours. They're completely dry on the ends. So I'll probably do that here really soon. Hanging plants are doing okay. Minus my pearls is rotting. Let me see if I can show you without it being too backlit. But all of the pearls are like sunken in and not healthy. I have one strand over here that's actually plump, and the rest is rotting on top. I went to go up there and peek at it, and a lot of it was rotting. It's in the other mix. I haven't repotted it since last summer, I think, so it's been in that for a while. So I am unfortunately going to have to lose a big chunk of that. I also have the variegated one, which is doing better than the regular one, but what I'm going to do is unpot them both and just pot them up together. I'm going to mix the regular and the variegated together. I'm gonna put it into my mix, repot them both, and any of the rotted strands between the both of them, I'm just gonna chuck. And my hearts, I'm actually gonna do the same thing with my regular hearts and my variegated one. I just don't want two separate pots. And my regular one is, for some reason, is having a harder time growing. So I'm actually gonna repot them and do them into one pot, because I have all these strands over here of the variegated that I propped in stratum that need to be potted up. So I'm gonna add all these props in and then just add them together, because some of my variegated hearts was reverting. I have like a strand that's reverted over here, so I'm like, I might as well just pot them up together and save space. So I'll have one pearls and one heart basket, if that makes sense. So I'll do that at some point. The turtles is doing really well. You can see the turtles up there. I have lots of new growth coming in. I haven't really lost any. It's been doing well, so I'm glad the turtles is coming back. That Hoya, I really need to repot and get out of that mix, as well as that Hoya. It's doing well, but again, I need to change the soil. And my Polynura is doing really well. I upsized that one in a Hoya video. And I have some new growth coming in on several strands. I think the little baby leaves are so stinking cute. And in the window, this Hoya Sunrise is doing really well. I upsized this one recently. I just lost some blooms on it. They just fell off, but I have some more peduncles down here. I have another Hoya in the window, Australis Lisa, that has dropped some leaves, which kind of makes me think it could be, I hope there's not any like mite situation going on with that Hoya. It had me a little worried. And then in the window over here, my Ficus shriveriana is doing really well. It's pushing several new leaves since I've had it. I love the color on that. And then the Hoya Abuvada is doing really well too. I should get another peduncle to come back. And it gave me a heart-shaped leaf on it, which is so cute. It's like it wants to be a carry-eye. But yeah, it is growing and really quickly. I'm getting tons of new little leaves on it. My Pilea, I ended up just repotting into terracotta and kind of getting rid of some excess soil. I was concerned it wasn't growing that well, so I wanted to just get rid of excess soil. So I kind of just like trimmed it down basically. So, and I had a pup that I potted back into it, so I just wanted to fill it in and yeah, just change the pot, put it into a shallow pot, and then I'm gonna let it completely dry out before I water anything else again. And let's give you an update on some Alocasia here. This is my sinuata. It lost a couple leaves recently, and I do have a growth point there in the middle. I think it just kind of is doing that weird like drop a leaf, grow a leaf type of thing. I don't know. But hopefully it'll stabilize. This is my frydek that was in my cabinet. This was corms off of my regular frydek. So it's starting to give me some bigger leaves, which is very exciting because this is pretty much all that's left of my frydek, and I'll show you the rest of my big beautiful frydek because I had to do a rehab project on it. This is the variegated California one. I got it in the same order with the Mickey Mouse here and the ficus. I was worried it had some kind of fungal issue, but those two leaves seem to be doing okay. Yeah, and this one dropped a couple leaves again. It's doing like the weird grow a leaf, drop a leaf type of thing. And then the Jacqueline, look at this beautiful leaf that it gave me. I have it in a stratum right now. Like I recently showed you guys this one, but that jump in leaf size is just crazy. It is very beautiful. It has like little fuzzy hairs on it. So I'm gonna let that one hang in stratum for a bit. My silver dragon is kind of giving me a fit lately. It had some weird looking leaves on it, but I chopped a couple off. So I don't know. I'm just letting it be for now. Hopefully I don't get too many more wonky leaves. And then I just did this one into pon. This is what's left of my Amazonica. So I just did this the other day, so I don't really have any update on that one. And my dragon scale, I actually noticed this earlier today. So I bought my dragon scale as a variegated one, and this is a different corm, but can you see the variegation coming in? This leaf is actually variegated. Isn't that cool? I don't know if it'll fade when it hardens, and then it's really hard to tell. The variegation isn't that prominent, but it's just like a completely different corm that grew from it. So these two, this one is one corm. No, these two corms and this one was stratum. And the ones that were in soil are doing okay. This middle stump here was getting squishy along with this one a little bit. So I feel like the soil to pon is giving me a little bit of fit, but I feel like the stratum to pon is doing better from just this little thing that I did here. So crossing my fingers, it does okay. This is my Gloriosum, and this one is pretty much has always been a struggle plant for me. It gave me a new leaf, but I accidentally broke, it got stuck, but it's giving me another new leaf here. I'm just kind of letting it dry out before I water again, just because it is in a bigger pot. And yeah, some leaves are kind of yellowing. I mean, it's doing okay. It had thrips last summer, but it hasn't like gone too downhill or anything since I put it into here. It's just kind of hanging out. I think that's the newest leaf, which is a little curled, which had me concerned. But yeah, it's pushing a new grow, so I'm just gonna let it do its thing. We are interrupting this update to say that I am refilming this part of the video forward. I was editing the footage and something happened to my audio with the mic. I don't know what happened. The first clip sounded perfect, and then it was just distorted somehow for the rest of the footage. So since filming, I have now done my moss poles, so you will see the extended version of the moss poles now. And yeah, I'm gonna finish up here. I believe I left off with the Gloriosum, so we will finish up in here, and then I will show you a few other places. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying so far. All right, moving down from the Gloriosum, we have the bottom shelf. I have my rattlesnake calathea, my stromanthe, and my peacock calathea. Oh no, I thought that leaf was getting burnt. I have to be careful sometimes. So these three are doing really well since repotting. The peacock calathea has grown in so much. She is just loving life. I feel like they're all doing really well. And over here, I ended up chopping my lemon lime maranta. This is the one that had flat mites. I just propped it in water. And the only reason I cut it back was it was kind of growing straggly, and it still had a lot of like flat mite damaged leaves, and it was kind of dropping a lot of those bottom leaves. So I just am going to start over with this particular lemon lime and just prop it, and then once I have enough roots, I will pot it back up. I feel like it would grow better, and I don't know, part of me thinks that the flat mites weren't gone 100% either. Same with the red maranta. It's doing okay. It keeps losing a lot of bottom leaves, but it is growing in a lot of new healthy leaves. I did spray that one down again with my soap mixture just to be like an extra step. I've had mites on that plant, so I'm hoping that there's no more pests or anything, like no more flat mites. I might have to do like a prop and add back in project on her. And then down here, this Alocasia, believe it or not, is the Heterophylla. So this isn't the original one. This one is actually the one that grew back from corms. This is all corms. And some of these leaves are getting humongous. The original plant I still have, it basically, I had to cut it all back due to a fungal issue, is what I believe. So when I went to go repot it initially, I had several corms and I rooted them all in my cabinet and stratum, potted them up, and it is exploding now in growth. I have so many corms in here. It's in soil. So it's like I have my heterophylla back now in a matter of months. So I'm very happy that I have this one because the leaves are beautiful. This corner over here, as far as updates go, I think for my Scindapsus, the only real update I have is my moonlight here didn't like the repot. I think it may have been too much soil for it because it was starting to curl and I think it had some rot issues. And some of the props didn't make it because I had added so many props in. So that's really the only one over here that I kind of had to just downsize. But I feel like the rest of them are doing okay. Yeah, I added so many props into all of them. And let's see, I still need to repot that Hoya. The lemon lime is doing well. And here is one of my Micans props. This is all from my moss pole that I chopped. It is rooting in stratum very, very well. You can see. So I'm gonna pot this up and create a trailing basket. I have two different prop vessels that I'm gonna do. Linearis is doing well. I have a couple Anthurium here, and then I have a Scindapsus there, or not a Scindapsus, a Syngonium frosted heart there in the back. This is the Anthurium, my Meg crystal that had the babies. It had the inflow that was pollinated. So I harvested all the seeds and they are now germinating in my cabinet. I can't wait to show you them. It did have another inflow that I cut off the other day and I think it self-pollinated, but I terminated it just because I didn't want her to waste energy because she had just given me berries and I was starting to get more yellowing and stuff on her. I think she's just used up so much energy keeping the inflows alive and I just didn't want to stress her anymore, so I just aborted that inflow. I just want her to focus on growing some more leaves first, and then if I decide to pollinate her again, then I will. And this one beside her is my Podato radiatum. Look at this new leaf. All the fingers, it's so cool. I do have an inflow that has pollen down there on her, but I haven't crossed or collected the pollen or anything. I love the leaf shape. In this corner here, I have my big burl marks variegated that is just growing away. And then I extended these two poles. I have my Melanochrysum that was imported in the front. I had her on the shelf, but I moved her down since I extended her to a third layer. And then my Monsteras Stanleyiana albo. Look at that newest leaf. Look at all that cream. I added a fourth extension on, so this now has 4 Thiccly poles. And it was a little unsteady. I added a garden stake to the back, and I have it Velcroed around the shelf just in case I don't want it to tip over. But the thing is, the pot that she's in, the nursery pot, is smaller than the ceramic. So if I can find ceramic that will fit that pot better, it'll be more sturdy. But since she's wobbling around in the pot a bit and she's a little top heavy now, she's gonna tip over. So that's the only reason why I kind of have her Velcroed right now. But I don't know what I'm gonna do once she reaches the top. I feel like another extension, I might add one on, but we'll see. And the Milano was doing better. It gave me some wonky leaves, and then the newest one is here. It was kind of growing before I got a chance to extend it, and I lost a couple leaves that grew in wonky, and then it had another vine on the other side that I chopped all the way back. I had heard that Milanos, if you chop them back, they'll grow better, but I don't know. They have to kind of get over their initial wonky stage. So I'm gonna let this one grow up, this new third extension that I added on, and see what the growth looks like. And at that point I might chop, but we'll see. I did a lot of rearranging and cleaning up on this shelf. I'll kind of run through everyone over here. This pink princess I had in my cabinet, the one that's on the floor, I just took her out of my cabinet a few days ago because she was getting kind of big for it. Look at this newest leaf on her. Isn't that gorgeous? This is the one that was growing all pink that I chopped back. I guess she's not happy being out of the cabinet. I have a yellow leaf down here. And my other one, I ended up repotting this pink princess. I was concerned that I accidentally watered her too soon, and I checked her roots out. There was a tiny bit of rot, so I just kind of repotted her into a more chunky mix, my moss pole mix, and I'm gonna let her dry out, and hopefully she kind of perks back up. She got a little bit droopy, which was really sad because this is my very pink one, so I think she'll be fine. I just accidentally, yeah, I think I just watered her too soon. And I have my Mandula pothos on a pole and my halo micans. I completely redid my halo micans. It was giving me some weird reverted leaves, and then it has the halo looking leaves. But what I did is I ended up doing it on a small grow pole. I had it on a medium, but it was only 2 vines, and then I added a small prop down there on the bottom. I just wanted it more full, and I felt like the medium was a little too bulky for it. So I completely redid that. I just did it on my own time. So hopefully it'll kind of continue growing, because I did kind of manhandle the roots a little bit because I had to take all the old moss out and add it back in on the new pole. And my Mandula is starting to get a little bit bigger leaves. This one is mostly all green though, but that one there, those are beautiful. So I can't wait for more growth on that one. Beside her is this Florida Beauty. This is the one that I imported. The newest leaf is a little bit green. I recently shared her in my favorites video, so I don't want to talk about her too much, but she's on a small grow pole and is doing very well. I feel like I'm going to get another new leaf soon. This is my favorite leaf though. It is stunning. Beautiful. And up here, I moved my Florida Ghost down. It was on that shelf, but I felt like it was kind of growing up towards the light. And I want it to grow more forward because look at those leaves, you guys. Stunning. This is the newest one. It is very beautiful. I love those leaves. And then we have my Global Green, which I ended up chopping a couple times. I chopped it here, and then I chopped it here, and it's activating a couple nodes, and then one there. The reason why I chopped it was because it was one vine, so I'm hoping to get a bushier plant that way. I just have to keep in mind that I can't let the moss get too dry because it's not connected to the soil roots anymore. So that's the only thing I have to keep in mind. And I did that same thing with my variegated Adansonii, and I'll show you that one. That one is growing in. Okay, that's the Burlmarks Flame. Or not Flame. Burlmarks Fantasy. I wish I had a Burlmarks Flame or a Monstera Flame. And this is the variegated Hederaceum growing away. I'm getting some pretty cool leaves. I have 2 layers on Thiccly with these 3. More Thiccly poles over here. The Philodendron Silver Stripe I recently did with you guys. And this is my Monstera obliqua. It's giving me some more runners, and I'm kind of annoyed by that. It's at the top of the pole here. And then I have a new leaf here, but I had chopped it before and it reactivated new growth, but the new growth that's reactivating is running. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I haven't decided. Let me tilt her down a little bit, but she has plenty of leaves and I feel like she's doing well. I'm trying to keep the pole moist. I might go ahead and extend her at some point so they don't keep running off. I know they're notorious for doing that, and I have another plant down here that's notorious for running because I did the same thing with this one. This is the Amedria Medium Silver. I chopped it, and I have the top in my cabinet, the top prop that I took, and then I'm getting 2 growth points from chopping, and they look like they could be runners. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the runners that they're that they're doing, but I know they are notorious for that. The variegated Adansonii is kind of annoying me because it's given me so much white. So I ended up chopping it in multiple places on the vine, and it's reshooting new growth from several nodes. You can see I did this a little while ago, and all the new leaves that are coming in are white. It's white on that one. It's white on those two that popped out. It's like, stop giving me all the white. And then it's growing white on this half of the vine, and then it's growing green and white on this half of the vine. So much white. It's like this plant is very beautiful, but the white leaves are not sustainable. So I don't know if I like accidentally did this plant a disservice by chopping it, but we'll see what happens with it. Fingers crossed it does okay. This little shelf here is one of my favorite shelves because it's my new plants. I have my 2 Maranta here. I upsized the light veins already. So stinking cute. And then that's the black Maranta there in the back. Adorable. I already have the unboxing video up on my channel if you missed. I have both unboxing videos up if you missed that. And these two I got from TL Plant Studio. I have the SP Columbia Silver and the Esmeralda Queen Anthurium. This one is the new leaf in my care. It's gotten huge. And this one hasn't pushed a new growth yet. This one is a crawler. I haven't repotted it or done anything with these. They're still in the same perlite moss. But I do want to put this one into soil. I just don't know what I want to do with my queen yet, so I'm kind of letting them hang out. I don't want to cause like any underwatering stress because they are in moss, which tends to dry out quickly in my space, so I'm trying to keep them hydrated. Before we do this shelf, I'll show you the tissue culture plants. Look at all of these. Isn't that crazy? I have the milk confetti syngonium on the back half, and this is the variegated giganteum. These guys have most impressed me because I feel like they are growing in so well. I had one pot that was the runt of the bunch, but even those are growing in. And some of them are really variegated, so I feel like these are doing really well and acclimating to soil very well. And the syngonium I feel like are doing well for the most part too. I've lost some of the bottom leaves on them. And I wanted to ask you guys, so this was supposed to be all milk confetti, but some of them look all pink. Like this one here, this just looks like a pink syngonium to me. I guess, does milk confetti do this? Do you guys know? Because I have that one that's growing all pink, and then I have one on that one, and then this one here that's growing all pink. Because that one is milk confetti, but that one is pink. Because I planted 2 different plants in these on some of them. So I don't know, it makes me think that this batch isn't all milk confetti, but if you guys know, let me know. Because I feel like I have 4 that are just pink. This shelf, I think the only update I want to share is, it's mostly my frydek. My big beautiful frydek is, yeah, this is all that's left of my frydek. I chopped him and I'm propagating him in pon. I did the video for my Patreon, so if you're interested in what I did, I have 2 separate cuts, but I do have good news is I have some growth happening and I have some new roots in pon, but it does look like maybe some are rotting, but yeah, it's hanging in there. So yeah, the fungal issue just kind of got a hold of him, and I just made the decision to try and save him. It's very sad. I can't even really look at this without getting sad because my frydek was so beautiful. And the Epi marble is right here. It's doing really well. I feel like it hasn't really attached into the moss yet, the pole. So once it actually starts attaching in there, it'll start climbing well. So, but compared to where it was, I feel like it's doing well. And just a few other random plants. Oh, there's something else I wanted to update you on. The El Choco, I decided to just behead him because I believe it had some sort of powdery mildew maybe. I'm not really sure what was going on with it. I had treated it before. It was like on the last 3 or 4 leaves, and it decided to yellow a couple leaves, so I just chopped it because I didn't want it to continue spreading. And the top cut is right up here. This is the biggest, most beautiful leaf. And I put it in stratum, and I'm gonna let this root in stratum and grow back, and then I will pot this up, and then whatever decides to reactivate on the stump down there, I'll have like 2 plants basically. So yeah, starting over basically with that one. My Capria is growing back. I have a new leaf here. This is the one, another Alocasia that had a fungal issue. It had 1 remaining leaf, and then that one just unfurled not too long ago. Down here on the bottom, I took some Maranta props. These are silver band. I just wanted to take some cuttings to fill mine back out. Since it had flat mites, it had gotten a little sparse just from with yellowing leaves. So I just want to, you know, prop and fill her back in, and I haven't propped her yet. And this one is a Carry Splash. I did chop this one to propagate, and that's a new node that's growing. I think I have the propagated piece in my prop box. And that's another Hoya prop there. Let's see what else is up here. My Philodendron Mame, I have the bottom cut and the top propping in stratum here, and this is the one that I had gotten to grow back because this one has a long history on my channel too. It had some weird yellowing. I propped it, it grew back. I had it growing in my cabinet, and then it came down to spider mites, and pretty much all the leaves got damaged with spider mites. So I made the decision to chop it again. So yeah, we're left with 2 more cuts, and I'm gonna restart that one again. My platinum took a little bit of hit after the repot, my Syndapsis. Some of the props died on it. I feel like this one is really sensitive to water. So I'm letting this one dry out a good way before I water it again. I feel like this one does not like wet feet at all. And then I have a rehab Pink Princess. This one I believe is a tissue culture that was sent to me. It had rotted before, and I rooted it back in stratum and potted it up recently, so it's just kind of hanging out in there. And these 3 Anthurium, I had made, you know, the white little pots. I spray painted the pots, but I took them out just while I was watering to check on them, and I felt like the pots were a little overwhelming for this shelf, so I'm going to use them somewhere else. And I feel like it was maybe wanting to restrict airflow a little bit, so I didn't want to like chance it. I do have lots of healthy new roots growing back on these Anthurium. This is my Forgetii, and my Forgetii is actually pushing an inflorescence since I've repotted all these that one night. And I have a couple of these wanting to maybe push a new leaf possibly. Or my Clary's never had an inflorescence yet, so I imagine they're probably new leaves working on growing back. But they're very happy in I used my moss pole mix. They're very happy growing back in here, and yeah, I feel like I can better keep an eye on the root system without them being in those pots. And this Alocasia had some spider mites as well as a fungal issue. I lost a couple leaves, so that's kind of isolated over here. I have some more that have some weird spots popping up. Just another Alocasia issue. So I have her kind of over here isolating, and I'm gonna see what happens with this one. Hopefully she doesn't get too angry and lose more leaves. I do, I believe, have a baby one in my cabinet here growing. And the Birkin I ended up chopping. I beheaded this one too. It was growing some pretty white leaves, and then it came down to spider mites. Some of the extra floral nectaries kind of popped out, you can see. So I treated it and put mites on it, and it's doing better, no more spider mites, but it's just hanging back here in the corner. I still like this plant. It's never really grown a whole lot for me. I have 2 separate strands in there that are growing. But yeah, I still like it enough to keep it. It's just not my favorite, but it doesn't grow fast, so it's nice to have plants that, for me, is a little bit more of a slower grower, because I do have some really fast growers. So that is the update pretty much with everyone over here. And I did the window already. So since now I have extended my moss poles, you will get the view of my moss poles extended. So I'll run through these and then run through the cabinet with you really quick, and then I'll show you a few other areas. My Regal Shield is hanging on. I was concerned this one had caught it too because I noticed a leaf here that was a little unhappy, and it's never ever done that before. And I saw some discoloring here as well. But so far it seems to be doing okay. It gave me a new leaf, which is a little bit smaller. So I'm hoping this one doesn't crash either. I'm just kind of letting it hang out and just continually keeping an eye on it. So crossing my fingers on that one, because I would be really sad to lose that one too after all this time. And as far as my poles, they're all doing so well. I extended these 3. I extended my dubia, which I need to find a pot for. I need to find a nursery pot or a ceramic for that one, and those 2, and the Gessiana, because I extended the Gessiana, the Syngonium albo. So I extended 6 poles the other day. So you will see that in a video, my next video, because you guys are going to see this one before that one. I extended some with you guys so you can kind of see the process. Because the varicosum I extended to 4 Thiccly poles, and I want you to kind of see how I did that with the stake and everything. And then the Esqueleto is growing. Yeah, it's growing very well now. I feel like the spacing is getting a little bit longer, the internodal spacing, so I don't know if that's because I let it, you know, grow off the pole a little bit before I had a chance to extend it, or it's just not receiving enough light. Probably a combo of the 2, because I definitely feel like it could use more light. Epipanatum albo, you guys will see that extension. Yeah, everyone is pretty much reaching the top again. It's crazy how tall all these poles are getting. My Cebu Blue and Adansonii, they are almost at the top. I got 3 fenestrations on that leaf. These are like over 12 inches long now. It's so crazy. Big Micans is doing really well. This one I'm going to end up trailing back down. I'm not going to prop or do anything with this one. I'm just going to let it vine down so I get a really full fluffy pole. And the Splendid and Glorious are right next to each other. The Splendid is doing really well since the chop. It's got a new leaf already, which is crazy to me. And it's a little bit smaller, but not by much, so I feel like it handled it very well. I didn't get any yellowing at all. It just handled it like a pro. It's done so well for me. So it makes me more confident to chop the Glorious when it comes time, because this one I haven't chopped yet. The newest leaf on this one was a little bit smaller, but that was after a repot that I did on it. So I feel like it sized down just slightly from that. So hoping the next leaf will be a little bit bigger. Oh, I moved Sorderoy here because I want the leaves to face the grow light. I talked about this one in my favorites video, that the leaves are growing up. So it's right in front of the grow light. So it should kind of fan towards the light in some time here, and then it will be all nice and forward facing, which I want with this one. And Marble Queen probably has 1 more leaf left, and then I'm gonna chop her. She's got this biggest one here. I measure her to be 14 inches long. So that's the most newest one. So it grew these 2 after the one that broke when I dropped her. So yeah, we've got 1 more that'll push out, and then she's actually rooting off of the pole now. So as soon as 1 more comes out, she'll be chopped, and she is still half plastic. So I'm gonna make her nice and full and fluffy. So basically just move this section, or like move the bottom section to this section and have a really full Marble Queen growing up. And then I'll do a pretty hefty extension on top, I feel like. And the cabinet, what changed in my cabinet? It's pretty much the same plants. I've just been rearranging them. It's pretty much a prop cabinet and Alocasia cabinet. I think I have all Alocasias on the bottom now, minus a few random props. I have so many corms growing. Look at all of them. It is insane. They are doing so well in here. I have some I need to kind of upsize. I need to probably pot some up, and yeah, I don't know what my plan is for all the corms. And look at that little baby frydek leaf, the variegated one. It's so cute. I have a medium wet stick that's growing. I have a oblique node that's growing. I have more Melanochrysum back there, the other strand. Here's my other Gloriosum. This one's doing better than the one back there in the long pot. It really likes the cabinet conditions. That leaf is so pretty. So if that one over there doesn't do well, at least I have this one kind of growing back, and it should do well in some time. But I feel like this one is really loving the cabinet. I'm gonna be potting up my Majestic soon. I feel like it's rooted enough to go ahead and pull that one up. Sorry, the grow lights make this very bright. This is my Anthurium magnificum that was rotting. So it's grown back a ton of roots. Someone said I should try to do one in pond. So I might do this Anthurium in pond because it's never really grown a lot for me. And they said Anthuriums love pond. So I might try that out for this one. I have tons of variegated frydek here. This is my biggest one that's in stratum. It's growing a new leaf and I have lots of roots. I upsized the stratum cup just because it was drying out so quickly. And I have another Majestic back there. And I think the biggest update I wanted to show you guys is all of the Meg crystal seeds that I harvested are growing. I did this on 6/1 and look at all the baby leaves. There's baby leaves in all of the prop vessels. I think I harvested 361, so I'm excited to see how many actually made it and survived, because all these little baby leaves are so stinking cute. Like, look at all those. I don't know if it self-pollinated or it crossed with something else. I really don't know. By the look, I can't really tell because they're so small, but it makes me think maybe it's self-pollinated, which would make more sense because I don't remember crossing it with something, although it could have been my dresserly, I'm not sure, which is now the stump, by the way, that you guys will see. It ended up rotting. I propped one of my albos, which you guys will see in a video. I have these ones in stratum and I did some in water. So I just put these in here yesterday, so these aren't growing yet. But I'm really curious how the albo is going to do in stratum. My clary is actually pregnant on both inflows. This one's getting ready to pop some seeds soon. I do know exactly which ones I cross those with. So hoping I get some different babies with those. I have a white knight here. You guys saw me do this one on a pole. It's loving the cabinet. I have a new leaf and it is rooting so well into the Thiccly pole, which is kind of surprising to me. But again, it loves the cabinet. And then I have a Enjoy that is on a Thiccly pole that's growing very well. Sorry for the brightness. And the Silver Sword, I put this one on a Thiccly pole as well, and it's doing very well. So very happy with everything in the cabinet. Everything that I put in here for the most part loves it. I have had some plants get angry at me because they didn't like the cabinet conditions, but overall everything just thrives in here. My hydrometer, I need to replace the battery, it's gone blank. But yeah, it usually stays like 70s humidity and close to 80 temp wise in here. Moving out here, I think the next update is really honestly just the shelf. It is a new plant shelf. Let me turn the light on over here, make it a little bit better. So I set this up maybe, was it last week or 10 days or so ago? And then I got this lamp as well. And I have 3 different grow bulbs. Well, they're the same grow bulb, I just have 3 in each little thing, and I really like it. I have it plugged into an outlet timer so I don't have to do anything. It comes off and on, and the shelf looks so much better. I'm still rearranging plants on it and figuring out kind of what I want to do with this setup. My goal is to move more plants out of my plant room so that it wouldn't be so crowded in there. So I still am playing around with the arrangement and everything. And I do have another plant shelf that I'm going to put up in the other bedroom, and that's going to be like my prop shelf and shelf that it's going to have plants that I maybe just want to get rid of and downsize. So I do have some props here that I'm going to move into there once I get it set up. I don't know why this begonia is looking a little funky. Oh yeah, this is my begonia maculata that I propped. It has so many roots in there. So I'm trying to decide if I should let it trail like this in water, just like leave it in water, or if I should pot it up into soil. I don't know what to do. It's like all the way over here too. Let me know. I love the way that it's trailing, the way that it looks right now. So I don't know. That's the syngonium prop that I took. This is the Hoya retusa. This is the one that was doing the single blooms. I had like 30 blooms all over it, and that's what attracted ants into my plant room. And so I can't look at this plant now without seeing ants everywhere. It hasn't bloomed anymore since I moved it, but it is like right next to a grow light. So I don't know if I even want it to bloom anymore because I don't want any ants coming in here. Another Hoya up there. That's my big neon pothos. I want to fill it in up top, so I have like longer strands propping. I've been meaning to add in here, I just haven't yet. And yeah, she's really long. Here's my other Micans. That's rooting in stratum. Here's my Brazil that's rooting back in stratum. Here's my OG Marble Queen. This is the one that I started my Marble Queen moss pole from. That's the mama plant. And this is I believe I bought this as a lemon meringue, but I'm not sure. It doesn't have very much color on the leaves. I haven't repotted it yet. I got it at a big box store. It's still in the nursery pot. And I have several Hoyas. This has kind of become like a Hoya corner. I have my big one over here, the Crimson Princess. It is growing back a little since treating for flat mites, but it hasn't grown a ton yet. It also came down with mealies several months ago. I do want to repot her at some point, but definitely not anytime soon because she is growing in some new leaves. So I feel like she's somewhat happy. I'm still getting quite a bit of leaf drop on her though. And yeah, some more Hoyas over here. My Shepherdea I bloomed for the first time. I think I have an active bloom on it. I was worried about putting it in the window because I didn't want it to attract ants. But that's what the bloom looks like here. So pretty. This one I need to repot. It's drying out pretty quickly. The string beans get wrinkly. It probably is wanting water, at least some strands again. And I do have a lot of peduncles that came in and grew. Some of them blasted, I feel like just probably from underwatering. But yeah, it's so stinking cute. These two poles are doing okay. I think I need to water that one. I had chopped those in a video. And yeah, all these Hoyas over here are doing well. And I have more Maranta down there. I have another lemon lime and Cruciovana. And then I took these props the other day. I have tons of Gessiana that I propped, Gessiana pothos, because I moved my Gessiana actually up there. She was on top of my cabinet in my plant room, and she was growing at different lengths, so I cut them up to make them even. And you can kind of see where they're growing back in, some new growth. And these are all the cuttings I took. So they are growing in nicely. And then I have some Syndapsis cuttings, Monstera Peru, and another Syndapsis Platinum cutting that I just went crazy one night and just started chopping plants. I'm a lot happier with the space. I took plants out of this window just so it wasn't so crowded and I could close the blinds. And they're mostly like Hoya, so pet-friendly ones in case the cats get over here. But they don't, honestly, they don't really come over here or mess with these plants or anything that much. I would love these Hoyas to get more light, so I might move them closer to the window, but I haven't decided yet. Because when I come into, I guess when all the plants have to come in from outside, I'm going to be like stuffing a lot of them over here, so I'll probably end up moving plants back to that window temporarily. But yeah, I think it looks really cute. I got this shelf from Amazon too, and I can link it down below if you're interested. I put it together myself. It's very beautiful. I feel like very sturdy. It was super easy to put together, and I feel like it just makes the space look so much better. I moved the other shelf to our bedroom. See, I really like the space so far, and again, I'm still like working on rearranging and all of that, but I'm waiting to get the other shelf set up. This is the other area that I kind of rearranged a little bit, and I got this little kind of bamboo-ish plant shelf off of Amazon. It's 2 separate pieces, and I think it looks so much better. I'm gonna get rid of this cat stand. It's so old. I'm gonna get a new one for them to put in this window. And I had all these rehab Maranta Calathea in the window, but again, I wanted to be able to close the blinds, and I was getting dirt and stuff along the ledge, and I just, yeah, it was getting too messy for me. So I did this, and I love it so much more. I have a Monstera in water over here. It's given me a couple new leaves recently. So many roots. I think I might leave this one in water for a while, because I do not need any more deliciosas. I have 3 outside. And then let me kind of give you a different angle. So I have one lamp with a grow light, and I have my big, beautiful Tenanthe here. She is gorgeous. I thought I was gonna get to repot her this summer, but I don't know if I will or not. We'll see. If I do, it might be closer to the end of summer. I do have a golden that I need to repot because I want to configure the one in my bathroom as well, because that one needs a repot. And that one lost some leaves here from underwatering, and I don't like how straggly it looks right there. So I do have props, and I think I want to create 2 golden pothos pots, but do it in a way as to where they both look nice in a way, if that makes sense. I have a lot. This is pretty much a jade now. It's all green pretty much. And I just want to get them filling in nice and looking better. So that will probably be a project one day. And these are all my flat mite victims. Well, that one was, that one, and those. One of my Calathea medallions is growing back in a little bit here since having flat mites. That one I believe is my pinstripe Calathea. And this is another medallion that looks like it's wanting to push a new leaf, so that's exciting. And then I have 2 Marantas that are growing back in since flat mites, especially that one. I think she's my favorite one because she's beautiful. And I have one more in the bathroom that's growing back. I did a flat mites video recently, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much. Or if you wanna know more about flat mites, I'll link that video. And this is another lemon lime that I have chilling out here. And you guys saw the syngonium that I did recently, so it looks a lot better. And here in the bathroom, I just wanted to quickly show you. So that's the other golden that I need to tackle and repot. It dries out so quickly. And this is mostly Maranta Calathea. All of my Calathea and Maranta love the bathroom. I can't say enough good things about the bathroom spot. They just truly love it in here. And this is the other Maranta that's growing back in since flat mites. Look at how happy it is. I love her. The only one that's sad is this geoplant. It hasn't really done much of anything, no new growth. So once it kind of settles in, I'm hoping it'll make a comeback. Yeah, I'm just letting it hang out. And this little Tenanthe here, Burl Marksy, I transitioned to soil and it's doing okay. So it's kind of hanging out. I have the prop box out here. I need to take care of him, of everything that's in there. It's just been sitting there. I haven't taken care of it yet. And this little shelf in here is just my to-do shelf. I have poles I need to fix, a lot of props. I have plants that I chopped. It is a hot mess. So as soon as I get that shelf built, I'm gonna take care of this and I'm gonna get rid of this setup. And again, I have those 3 Hoyas I need to repot. Yeah, there's a lot of projects to do in here. It's mostly just props. And I'm gonna be taking this shelf down and getting rid of that setup. The new shelf I'm gonna be putting here, I wanna get rid of this dresser because we don't use it. And I'm gonna put a plant shelf here, which is actually in this box right here. I had ordered a different one in here. So I'm gonna get this built. If you can see, it's kind of dark. I'm gonna get that built probably in the next couple weeks so I can redo this bedroom area. It's kind of similar to the new shelf that we bought. It looks kind of similar in a way, but it is different, and I'm excited to get that put up. Okay, I had to turn my brightness down because it is super bright out here. The biggest update I wanted to share is with the ficus. Look at how much it is growing. It has gotten huge since being outside. I have 3 vines, which I need to stake them up. It's probably grown like that much already since being out here, and the leaves are getting so much bigger. Look at that one. It is loving being out here. And I got that cute little pot at Target. It had fallen down several times from the storm because it's cracked in a lot of different places. But, oh, firework. But yeah, it loves it. And snake plants are doing well. Lots of new growth on so many of them. I have new growth coming in on my whale fin back there. Snake plants are super, super happy. Can't say enough good things. That one had bloomed. They did get a little burnt initially being outside, but they are acclimated now. They do get some direct light when like the sun moves in. You can see a little bit here. This will come all the way back here towards the door. Once the sun starts setting, it can reach like right here. But she doesn't get any direct sun. So happy I made the decision to put her out here because she is beautiful. It makes me want another ficus. All right, and then quickly out back before my camera gets angry at me. Look at the baby sleeping. They love how warm it is out here. Hi, babies. They'll stay out here all day. Hi, Noon. All right, out here, everything is doing really well. I have, yeah, all of my Monsteras love it. So many new leaves on my Monsteras. This is the newest one here. You can't really see it, but it is humongous, you guys. Humongous. Such a big Monstera leaf. Birds of Paradise is doing amazing out here. So many new leaves. Loves it. I don't know where I'm going to put all these big plants when it comes time to move them back in. My 9-foot moss pole I'm chopping next week. I'm making that a priority. Lizards like to run up and down the pole. You'll see lizards climbing on it. The cats like to come over here and stare at the lizards. So that is getting redone. And staghorn got sad because I accidentally left it out in the sun. I had to cut like 10 burnt leaves off. So I had set it outside on the patio area right here to get water. It was raining. And I accidentally left it out there overnight, and the next day, I didn't notice it till the afternoon, and you see how the sun is, it scorched it. So it got very burnt. It got very crispy. But I do have some new leaves coming in, so it'll grow back. I was so sad I accidentally burned it. Poor guy. This is my rehab cart out here. These are all my imports. I am making a separate video on the imports and my progress with that. So you guys will see that for a different video. And oxalis actually did get a little sad. I had moved it out here and then Chai accidentally ate some of it. I do kind of want to move it to more light though. And you guys saw the orbifolia that I'm rescuing. Over here, my squammy loves it outside. I have lots of caladiums. Oh, hi Noon. I have an Alocasia metallica out here. I got this at Ace. Look how beautiful. Has a new leaf. An Alocasia that doesn't have a fungal issue. And I have my Jose that I need to repot out there. And then my Billietier finally put out a new leaf since being outside. It took like 3 months, I feel like, since March. The end of March. It took a while. And the Dracaena accidentally fell during a storm and I forgot about it, and it's like a swoop like that. Do you see the leaves? It's like going that way. So yeah, I feel bad. I'm gonna get rid of this cart. We're gonna mulch this area instead of the straw, and we're gonna do some landscaping bricks, and I'm gonna probably just do some plant stands, but I'm not gonna leave this set up there. It's just kind of temporary. And we're gonna like mulch all along here since the grass doesn't grow, and brick all this in. I think it'll look really nice. And I have a lot of caladiums there that I grew back from bulbs. I hope you enjoyed this little planty update. It was a lot. I hope the audio is okay now. I'm worried that the audio is messing up again, so hopefully this time it's okay. And I'm excited to, yeah, get the rest of my poles good. I'm excited to chop this one and get the other shelf set up. I feel like once the other shelf and bedroom is set up, then I can kind of rearrange the plants more to how I want. And yeah, I'd like to let go of some plants and some props and all of that. I feel like it would make me feel a lot better, and then I can get some more wish list plants. So if you have any questions, definitely let me know down below in the comments. If there was a plant that I forgot to show or you had more questions about, just let me know and I'll answer you down there. Thank you again so much for watching and for being here and supporting. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will talk to you again very soon.